Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Storytime. My name is Courtney Baker and I am your host and producer. Thank you so much for joining us today. So this episode is special because not only do I have an amazing guest, but I actually have a co-host that is my best friend, big brother, CJ Ryan. I have been trying to get him on the show literally since before I even did our first recording. And I got a guest good enough to convince him to come on the show. So today we have Brandon Magee. ASU Sun Devil fans will know him. He's by far one of the best to ever wear a Sun Devil uniform. He's so amazing, two-sport athlete. And then his life outside of sports is actually super interesting and pretty fun and exciting. So I'm kind of expecting a little bit of chaos on this episode, but I absolutely have so much love for both guys that are on the show with me today. So stay tuned and enjoy. All right, y'all, welcome back. Like I said, we have a very special guest host today, my best friend, big brother in the world, CJ Ryan. He's thrilled. He came prepared. And joining us is, like I said in the intro, one of the greatest to ever wear Sun Devil uniform, two different Sun Devil uniforms, hey. Brandon Magee. How are you doing?
What's up? Thanks for having me on this great show. It's story time. Is that what you guys say? Story time?
Yes. So you better bring all the good stories for this show.
I will.
Perfect. All right. Well, because you and CJ played on the same team, I'm going to let him take over and just get to it.
Hey, it's been a while. It's been a few years. How's everything doing?
Everything's great, man. I mean, I have zero complaints.
Where are you at these days? It's kind of hard to keep track of you. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm in Beverly Hills, like by the Beverly Center Mall.
Okay.
And I live down here in a condo. I go back and forth from here to Arizona. Or fly not too often now with COVID, but yeah, I'm stationed here in LA.
Okay, and what are you up to? What's the current project for being?
I got some juice that's about to get released. It was supposed to come out today, like I gave you guys Courtney a heads up, but it's actually going to be announced after Thanksgiving break, and it's going to blow y'all away. I'm not even allowed to talk about it because it's that big. Like when y'all see it, y'all will be like, "Holy smoke! How did he pull that off?" Yes.
Just blow up your phone instantly as soon as we see the news.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A little bit of a secret project. I can appreciate that. I mean, you're always a man that stays busy. I know that you were making a little bit of a foray into the media there.
Yep. Yeah, I did some broadcasting. Chris Peterson from Channel 12 NBC. Yep. That's my guy. Like, so just so y'all know, when I was in Boston, my back went out when I was in spring training. So I could no longer play any more sports. So I pretty much disappeared, moved to Arizona to do rehab at Exos. And my boy Chris hit me up when I wanted the opportunity to find a life after football. Right. And he literally taught me how to do broadcasting, got me to NFL Films broadcasting, and then Good Morning Football 3 times. So it's all thanks to that guy that I'm even working in Hollywood right now. It's because of him.
I mean, and that's the thing is it's all about having like good mentors, right? It's all about having like that good team around you. And I know that it was a few days before you got drafted in the MLB, mm-hmm. and you got a very important phone call. Can you tell people a little bit about this phone call and about this wonderful mentor of yours?
Well, I was driving, I was passing by In-N-Out, and I had a call. It was a private caller ID number. I was like, oh, why are people still using private call numbers, right? So I answered the phone. I'm driving, and it's hot. And he said, "Hey, is this Brandon?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, it's Bo Jackson." What the? Like Bo Jackson? So I pulled over to the In-N-Out parking lot, and I chopped it up with him for like a half an hour. And literally, if I had any questions during my time playing both sports, he'd text me right back. Or get on the phone and tell me stories about when he was playing. I'll tell them what's going on with me. So he was my mentor during that whole time.
And so, like, what were the things that you really took away from the conversations you had with him? Because, I mean, both of you are such I guess it's such a different kind of an athlete, right? That plays two professional sports. It's such a different athlete to play one, right? So what are kind of those lessons, what are kind of those takeaways that you had from him?
Well, the main one is what a lot of people wouldn't expect, but he told me, make sure I get a haircut all the time. Make sure you're clean shaven, or if you have a beard, edge it up. Make sure you wear clothes that fit you, look presentable, talk presentable, be that guy first. Yep. And then when you get on the field, be the hardest worker on the field. Show off pretty much all of your abilities day in and day out. And then his personal story, I don't want to tell him, but they're amazing. That guy, he's amazing, guys. He's amazing.
I just want to add to that. So when I was working at Camelback Ranch, CJ, you might already know this, but we had the Dodgers and the White Sox. And Bo Jackson was just down in spring training camp. He kept it really low key, but he was over with the White Sox. And it was a Dodger home game. So I was wearing the Dodger blue polo, Dodger lanyard. And I walk over there, I think to like either ask someone a question or to take pictures. It might have been the same day Luke Bryan was there. So maybe to like grab pictures of him. And Bo looks at me and he was like, Dodger blue? Really? And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know if he's being serious, if he legitimately like does not like me right now, but just for Bo Jackson to like insult me, that was like the best moment of my career.
That's funny. That's funny.
I mean, but that being said, I feel like you probably looked him in his eyes and you probably were super, super just like a goggy eyes and were like, my God. Yeah.
Oh, you know me, like when I get embarrassed, like the high pitched, like just all innocent, I'm like, well, it's a Dodger home game, and I like ran away. But I love telling that story. Every time I see him now, I'm like, that's the guy that insulted me. A legend.
Hey. I mean, so it goes. The best of us get insulted by the best people. I actually remember, I'll never forget, one of the first times I met Brandon. And we were in the weight room. I'll never ever forget this. And it was like week 2. And I remember sitting there and I was lifting and he looks me dead in my face and he goes, "Hey man, you look at yourself in the mirror a lot."
That sounds about right though.
Yeah. When I was 22 years old,
And that's why you wanted to do this episode with Brandon, because of that comment.
Kind of. It was interesting because when I was playing in the very short time I was there, you know, my locker was in the back corner. He had one of the front ones in the nice new locker room. And like nobody ever like spoke to us people in the back corner like other than Brandon. Honestly, like no one else would even like venture back there. They'd just be like,
hey, they were in the back. It was kind of like by the restrooms, right?
Yep.
Yeah, by the showers in the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh no, like the back row of the airplane, like the bathroom row of the airplane that nobody wants to go by.
People were sharing lockers. Like there were like I was one of the few walk-ons that I was there early enough to get my own locker, but then there were a bunch of them that were like sharing their lockers next to me, and I was like, oh. I mean, even Brandon remembers camp, the year that we went to Camp Tontezona, and and like we were up in like these like army style barracks with bunk beds that we called the projects, and then all the seniors were all down in these nice, you know, cabins.
Yep. Dang, that's crazy.
Wasn't that the year that you turned around an interview on a reporter?
Yeah, I did. That was like it was right after practice. We were walking up the hill or something, and I was like, "Here, just give me the mic." And I just started interviewing the players. Yeah, that was fun, man.
I loved when you told them to lower the camera for Kyle Middlebrooks.
Oh, yeah. I said, "Oh, yeah, lower the camera." That's funny.
So great. Kyle's the best. Like, I loved getting to know him in college, but that made me laugh every time I watched.
What a time. I mean, and that was like your first real, like, because you were really in the media eye, you know, all the way through college, right? So was that one of those things that kind of made you, you know, perk up and say, you know, maybe I could do this when people, you know, kind of approached you about it?
Yeah, I mean, even in high school, our interviews, because you know how we were raised, I grew up with like 17 of my best friends who were all really good athletes.
Right.
So we would make sure to have fun with all of those interviews. So
Right.
that's how we learned how to do like sound bites and kind of give them juice before a game. You know what I'm saying? Talk, without talking too much.
Right.
And so I just love getting interviews. I just love talking. And yeah, it was fun.
And I mean, so you mentioned, all the way back to high school. You graduated in what, 08?
Oh, wait, yeah.
And Will Sutton graduated in 09.
Yep.
And like there was like a group of y'all that graduated within, a 3-year span, even though it's interesting because you were born October 22nd, 1990, right? I am a day younger than you and graduated a year after you.
Yeah, I started school early. Yeah, I graduated high school at 17.
Oh.
Yeah,
I did too.
The only reason I was even kind of normal age is because I tore my Achilles my senior season, and then I had to come back. So now it's like in my normal age group for once.
Interesting. Okay, so I didn't know that, but I was looking it up and I was like, oh yeah, all y'all graduated in a very short span. Like, what was that like with so many of y'all in?
I can say this. To be continued. That's all I can say.
I'll take it.
To be continued. Answers coming soon.
I'll take it because I know that story. I know that there are going to be some stories. I know that we're going to hear a lot of cool things because I could only imagine what it was like when every scout in the world was there and like, hey, all of you, all of you come here. We're going to talk to all of you. And it's not regular.
You guys want a funny story?
Always.
I don't even think people know this one. So I had a home visit from Arizona State. I'm not going to say which coach or scout, but I had a home visit from Arizona State in high school. So he comes in, I'm sitting with him in the living room. We're talking about my scholarship and whatnot. And remember, my house is full of athletes, right? So I think it was my mom told Shelly, walk downstairs and introduce yourself. So now we're sitting on the couch. This huge, big, swole ass Shelly comes walking up the steps with no shirt on. Hey, I'm Shelly. Nice to meet you. You know what I'm saying? To this scout. And then he just turns around, walks right back upstairs. And then right when he left, he was like, who was that? And I was like, oh, that's Shelly Lyons. He's never died. It's amazing. Obviously, you see how that turned out. So yeah.
Well.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
I mean, God, I'm looking forward to hearing more about what's to come. That's going to be very, very cool. But so back to the story that you just told. You mentioned your mom, right? And I know that I read a story. I can't remember when it was, but you mentioned how every day your mom kind of motivated you and reminded you how special you were, right? Every day. Mm-hmm. What kind of an impact does your mom have on you in your daily life now? What kind of impact did she have on you back in the day through this whole process?
I'd say this is it was a saying that she'll say, you are, and I had to say special. And if somebody tells you that at a very young age, you just feel like you can accomplish anything, and I still do. And I think that's why I carry myself with I can do anything. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Right. Type of attitude. So she's the reason I am who I am today. Mm-hmm. And she's so powerful, and the stuff that she did behind closed doors throughout this whole journey and for other people is to be continued.
I think I'm starting to put this together. I feel like my mind is just coming up with all these ideas now. So I'm excited to see.
Yep, you can try.
We're gonna get. It seems like we're gonna get a cool glimpse into the life of Brandon Magee. It seems like we're gonna get some cool stuff, some behind the scenes info about him.
It'll be some cool stuff. It'll be some cool stuff. Yeah. Yep.
I appreciate it. So, I mean, okay, let's find something that you can talk about. Okay. How about this? The community. You were big in the community when we were in college.
Yes.
tell me more about community involvement. What kind of motivated you to do that? What's the involvement you have now?
Well, in the community, that all started mostly in high school. And then once I knew I had more of a even more wide range or voice in the state of Arizona, because I'm not from there, then I really started to branch out and use it. And my whole thing is, I just want kids to know that they can do anything they can imagine. And I don't care. You should not care what other people think. Just go out there and do it. And you have to love the little things. It's the grind. Like, I live in that shit. Like, I wake up excited to grind while other people be like, I don't even want to do that. I love it. I enjoy it. I love it. If you take it away, I wouldn't know what to do with my life.
Right.
So I want to encourage kids to do that same thing, to have that mentality that you can do anything you want. So literally, Todd Graham, I would text him, hey, I'm going to be late to this meeting. I'll be late to practice. I have to go to Peoria or something like that. I talked to over, 35 schools in one season. And he would let me show up late to do that. So I would, you know how we had like film study after the game the next day?
Oh, yeah.
I would rest up because the next morning on Monday, like we had practice or something, I would go to a school right after, or like the whole week, I was just talking to schools that whole season. So I hope I changed some kids' perspective on life, have an impact.
And so Coach Graham was very, very supportive of that, obviously, because he was all about us doing the right thing, right? And I know that the discipline of that year was beyond anything. What was the first like 7 games with no penalty or something ridiculous like that? I mean, that was quite a year. I mean, and the leadership, because of what you, Carl Bradford,
and Marshall,
Cam.
Yep.
And I mean, so what was that like leading with a group like that?
Incredible. But first, to know about that, you have to go back to Coach Graham got hired. He flies to Arizona. I met with him right when he landed, one-on-one. So I can see what his mindset was going into this so I can relay it to the team, right? Blew me away. I was like, all right, let's ride. And then we had Cameron Marshall. The dude doesn't talk much. He performs.
Yeah.
He performs. And if you don't notice that, he kind of took a back seat his senior season when he was ready to go pretty well high in the draft. Took a back seat. Never complained. Taylor Kelly, he was like 3rd string in the beginning of the season. And then it was like one spring ball. And now you're starting. You see what I'm saying? Like, we had ball players. Carl Bradford became that leader through his play. Will Sutton became that leader through his play. There wasn't a lot of this. Right. The only time I did a lot of this was when we got in the huddle like game week of U of A, and I can't control myself when it's that game week. Yeah, because I really do not like them at all.
I'm going to cut in really quick because that leads me to one of the questions I was going to ask. So I was going crazy last night trying to find the U of A quote that you're so well known for. And I'm like, CJ, I'm going insane. I can't find it. And out of nowhere, he sends me this.
Yep.
So it says, I can't stand the Wildcats. I will never respect them ever. And I interviewed Kalen Balaj, and he told me when he was on the team, hates the Wildcats. Now he's with the Chargers. I was like, do you still hate them as much? He's like, yeah, I don't even say their name. So for you, all these years later, same thoughts on them?
It's the same thoughts. And I painted that, what you just showed me for, I think it was not the fundraiser, but after the year is over, what's that thing called?
It was the banquet. It was the banquet where they had the
banquet. Yeah, and they had an auction for that. So they asked me to paint something. That's what I came up with because I still don't like them at all. But I'll tell you the truth. If I go to a gym, Equinox, 24-Hour Fitness, the mall, if I see anyone with the U of A anything, I'll just look at them and I'll just nod my head like this. Yep. I won't even say anything. And the same thing if I drive past somebody, I'll do the same thing out the window, or just throw the pitchfork. I don't like them at all. So, yeah.
I've booed one in public.
Yeah,
I've walked by when I lived in Colorado. People would be walking up and down the main street there, and I would see one on whatever random Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday afternoon, and I'd literally just go, boo, and they'd look at me, and I'm giant, so they're just like,
They probably ran away.
I can tell you this stuff. Before I showed up to Arizona State and before everyone else showed up to Arizona State, they had a chance to get those Centennial people over there, but they made a mistake. I can't say what the mistake was, but they made a mistake. And made it go there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was my first scholarship.
Was it?
In the Pac-12, I believe. Yeah, they were in Washington State. And I took my visit. I got off the plane. I was like, "This is not good. This is not good, Mom. I can't go here." But I made a call and I said, you can't say what it is, but it's not illegal too, by the way. But they didn't want to do it, so we went to Arizona State. So they could have very much had all of these players. Yeah.
Big mistakes. Big mistakes are made. Sometimes it turns around and changes the entire face of a program, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. So Washington State was one of your first offers. Who was head coach at that point in time, and why did you make the wonderful decision to not go to Pullman?
Bro, I don't even know who the head coach was. And I didn't even know. So I was like, I talked to my brother. I said, I got an offer from Washington State.
Yep.
He said, bro, it's cold up there. I said, really? So I go on like the weather app and it was like freezing, like 30 something. I said, nah, I pass. That was it. It was no more thinking after that.
Yeah. That's the same as most Washington's, like most of us from like Seattle. If they come calling, we're just like, no. It's like, it's cold enough here. We're not trying to go to be in Washington in the snow for 4 months. Like, no, that makes sense.
No.
Oh yeah. So Brandon, in case you didn't know, CJ was living in Scottsdale, then went to Denver, or you bounced around across the country. And now he's back in lovely Seattle, in case you can't tell by like the gloomy background. So he went from Scottsdale to Seattle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Are you all right?
I mean, I was born and raised here. I mean, I still have, so I still spend a lot of time in Scottsdale, but like I was living in Boston for 4 years and it was just way too cold and dreary for me. So I came back to a place that's a little bit less cold, but equally as dreary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, Seattle's a cool town. It's changed a lot, but it's a cool place.
Yeah. That's cool. It ain't bad. It rains a lot. That's about it.
Is that Hey Arnold behind you?
Let's see. Yeah, it is. I got a lot going on over here.
Is that wall that you painted?
Yeah. I painted because it was like stress relief for anxiety attacks I was having.
Okay. So is that still something that you work through on a regular basis? Is that, is painting still something that kind of helps with it?
Oh yeah. There was the reason I moved in here is because they allowed me to paint on the wall. So I literally taught myself how to paint and sketch. So I just literally sketch them all out and I paint them when I'm stressed out. And all of these characters have like characteristics, like what they stand for as a character. And it tells my life story from left to right. But no one knows that looking at it, but everything is a timeline to me calling my shots of what's going to happen and what's already happened and then what's going to happen like when I'm old and gray. So this is my life story behind me.
Okay. So how much time have you put into all of that from visualization to drawing to actually getting the painting down?
It'll take me, I have to like visualize what I want to put on there and what's the reason for putting it on there. Right. And then once I do that, it'll take like 2 hours to finish a character. I do it pretty fast now. It used to take a while, but yeah.
I mean, those are impressively spot on for like that rocket power one.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite ones.
Those are spot on.
This guy, I like Scooby Doo.
Oh wow, that, huh?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. And then the McDuck guy is one of my favorites.
Scrooge.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good one. The Proud Family. I see the Proud Family down under there.
Yeah, the UFO abduction is actually glow in the dark. So at nighttime, Homer Simpson's getting brought up in the beam.
What does Homer stand for? Like, I love The Simpsons, so I'm very curious how Homer relates to you.
Yeah, he's lazy. Lazy people. So he's getting abducted because he's sleeping, eating donuts. He's lazy. Do you see Sonic over there?
Yep.
Yes.
So where's he at?
All the way in the back, all the way back right.
Yeah, in the corner. Let me see. There we go. Well, Sonic is just laughing at him, getting abducted because he's being lazy. So that's me laughing at him. Lazy people.
I appreciate that. That's I mean, I will tell you that there was nobody that worked harder ever than you when I was playing with you. And there was one time when I remember that came back to bite you. And I tell this story all the time because there was once when we were running outside.
Yep.
And it was
I remember
1,000 degrees, and you and I somehow ended up running next to each other. I have no idea how this happened because I wasn't supposed to be anywhere close to the people that were starting, and we're running next to each other, and then we're standing there, and I say something to you, and then I turn and I look forward, and then I turn back, and you just weren't there.
Nope.
And then I look down, and you're just on the ground. And I remember being so horrified and thinking, that person plays 2 sports. Here is going to play 2 professional sports. That's a big problem for all of us.
Yeah. Because I was trying to do that, we had to run extra for some odd reason. Don't know why. Yeah. So I was like yelling, encouraging, getting hyped up, and it was hot. And all of a sudden, I couldn't feel my body anymore. So I went to like full body cramps. My body, I just blacked out, bro. I was gone. Yeah, I remember that. That's funny. We were running striders, I think. 100s and 110s. Yep.
Yes, yep. Grizz and Josh just standing there. Grizz and Storm standing there just watching us, laughing, because we didn't do, like, there was something that we did not do, and then there was something else that was worse that we did do that very much, I think it was just pissed off Coach Randolph, if I'm not incorrect. I think it was just made him upset.
You never know. Because, bro, we had to do bear crawls up a mountain.
Yep.
We had to come on. So we can't see the ground at 4 a.m. Yep. So we're literally doing bear crawl with rocks and, bro, come on, bro. It was.
Do you remember, I don't know if the vets had to do this, but do you remember the day when we had to like legitimately do like sled pushes through the entire concourse of the stadium?
Oh no, yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think you guys did that because there was once when we woke up, and the only reason why I was okay with this is because DJ Foster was there, because I knew I was sitting there and I was like, I'm a walk-on, but DJ Foster's doing this too. I'll be fine, right?
Yep.
So they start by having us like go over to the squat racks, take a 45-pound plate, do a wall sit, and just sit there, right? And it was literally until failure, and then they just told us to get back up and do it again. Then they had us do some ridiculous core program. Then they had us get another one of our teammates, put them on our back, and like run up and out of the weight room. Like, you know what I'm talking about, up and out of the weight room. Then we switched, and then we went over to the bottom of the concourse of the stadium, and they had like 4 or 5 of those sleds, and we went all the way up and around and down the other side. It was the worst. I mean, it was the worst thing other than Pride Fridays.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Pride Fridays.
Yeah, it was tough.
Brutal.
What were these Pride Fridays? I remember hearing about them, but I don't remember anymore.
Oh,
Pride Friday. It was the hardest day of the week, and what was it? It was like they would just pick things out the hat to make us do.
Yep.
And I think we even had to like squat at one time, and then go outside and run stadiums, and then come back in and squat some more, and then what? It was a lot.
There was the one time where we met in the evening. I remember this. We met in the evening and we went in the bubble, and they had those big wood sleds out for us.
Yep.
And Storms and Grizz stood on these sleds, and it was,
Yep.
I think it was it was like linemen and skill positions, and then like whatever, the running backs and quarterbacks or whatever. And like I remember it was like you could have X amount of people pushing this, and we were just going around in circles in the bubble until people just fell apart. I mean, we were all just literally, I mean, we were crawling out by the end of it. I will never forget the pain and agony that we all went through for, I think it was a good hour. Easily that was an hour.
And I have to ask, because you were a two-sport athlete at ASU, baseball and football, I want to know, for everybody that's listening that doesn't know how crazy the life of a student athlete is, I lived, as CJ knows, I lived in San Pablo next to some of the football players. Gary and Carl were my next door neighbors, so I would be woken up at 4 a.m. with their very loud music, trying to get them hyped for training or whatever. So up before the sun, and then between training and meals and study hall and class, like, it's an insane schedule. So how did you even manage to fit two sports in there?
Well, luckily I had this wonderful, wonderful human being, and Miss Corinne. Do you know Miss Corinne? Yeah, you guys know who Miss Corinne is. Yep. She, lifesaver, helped me stay organized, and then Jean Boyd was there. So I had a lot of help organizing the schedule. But even looking at it during the football career, I remember I played against Colorado at Colorado, and that whole week I didn't watch film. I watched nothing outside of, the regular hour film that we watch before practice and stuff like that. But I watched zero film. I literally played the game without knowing any tendencies or anything. I just went out there and played a game, and we won. But that's what you have to do sometimes, because the school comes first and then the sports. But it gets difficult when the spring comes, when baseball starts, and I still have to do the football workouts, because I'd have to do a spring ball football practice, finish the practice, walk across the street to the baseball field in my pads, take my pads off, put the baseball uniform on, and then be in the dugout for that game. The baseball game gets over at like 10 p.m., and then I'll go home, have to do homework, and do the same thing. That's the week. That's the whole week. Yeah.
Jeez. Did you have to manage? I know, just obviously muscle-wise, football's totally different than ideally baseball. So how did you manage to keep yourself in shape for both sports?
Well, staying in shape was the easy part, but like you guys, now this will start to make more sense. My injuries were all like freakish injuries, like the Achilles. Even in the NFL, I tore this pec, tore this pec in college, just bench pressing, tore a rib from my cartilage at Arizona State. Like all of my injuries was because my body was so tightly wound because I never had a break. So I was literally in pain all year. But don't forget, I played 2 in high school. So I played 2 sports in high school for 4 years, no break, 4 years in a row. Get to college, 4 years in a row, no break on a higher scale. And then I played with the Red Sox and football after those football seasons. Same thing professionally, and my body just gave up. That's why I was so done. I was done at like 26. Didn't take it anymore.
Just at that point in time, it's just so like unsustainable, right? Like there's just no way that you can keep performing at that high of a level for that long. I mean, it's just impossible, especially starting in high school. Like what was that like, again, being at such a high level in high school? You know what I mean? As a 15, 16, 17-year-old. That must have been crazy, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. But the craziest part was I wasn't the only one at that high level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would think usually if I go to any other school, I'm like the best athlete on the team. No, we had Vontez, we had Will Sutton, Shelly Lyons, the U of A quarterback, Matt Scott, was our starting quarterback, Ryan Bass, Michael Eubank, Jared Bryant. Guys, we had my brother went to Arizona State. I feel like I'm missing people, but you guys get the picture. But it was fun. it was just fun, man. It was a blast.
So kind of going back to something that you were mentioning earlier when we were kind of talking about painting, but in this whole thing, right, this is a crazy, crazy existence with a lot of stuff flying at you from a really, really young age.
Mm-hmm.
How did you deal with your mental health through this whole time, right? Because I know that it's just being in the limelight like that, being criticized like that, being, celebrated, criticized, all of these things.
Yep.
How did you navigate that from a young age?
That's a great question. I had to say that's a great question you just asked me that always gets overlooked. Let me make sure I take all of that in, okay? So you want to know how I took care of the mental health,
Yep.
even from like high school on, college,
Yep.
to the pros.
Yep.
So high school was a little easier because I was always around my friends. So it was more fun than stressful, right? But then college, especially after we had 6, 7, 8, was me, Vontez, Shelly Lyons. That's when I would go to Michael's art store and get recognized at Michael's art store because Tempe is a small place.
Right.
So I knew anytime I would go anywhere, I was going to talk to somebody. So at first it was like, oh, geez. But then I started to like enjoy it and just take it in and talk to people. You know what I'm saying? So that was fun. And then the NFL hit and I got there without my friends. I was playing against them. I played against Tez.
Right.
That was the hardest thing for me because that's what made football fun. Once I left Arizona State and now it's a business and I don't have my friends with me, that's when I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's all I can say about that.
Right.
But the baseball part was a lot more fun. So it kind of helped me balance my brain. Like baseball was back to the grind, riding buses with people that are just trying to get to the big leagues. And it was so much fun. But now, after everything was gone, instantly, I just woke out of bed one day and my back went out and that was it. So after that, and sports was my whole identity. It was my whole life. That's when the mental started to hit. Because now all of a sudden, you feel like a ghost, right? I had 2 different contracts, and now they're both gone.
Right.
So you're like, what do I do?
Right.
That's when it hit. And then you start to see that the people that would talk to you all the time don't even talk to you anymore. So that's why, like you probably said, you haven't seen me in a long time and stuff like that. It's because I took it in to really learn about this and distribute the fake to the real. Who's real, who's fake. And then find out my field and what I want to do in life. And I found it. And now, once this, you know what I'm talking about? Once that hits, I already know who I can talk to and who I can't.
Right.
That's why when you guys asked to do this interview, yeah, let's do it. Because y'all was there the whole time. You guys were great people. But there's some other people I'm like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Again, so while playing ball, there's a certain people that contact you, reach out. I didn't know I had so many, family members that I never met in my life, or friends, or people. Oh man, I went to elementary school with you. I got some medical bills, or I got some. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who you are. I'm just gonna be nice and be like, I hope it all gets better, But after that, it all goes away, and people don't know what you're doing. When people don't know what you're doing, they think you're never gonna be on top again, or you're useless to them. So they pretty much throw you away. And I loved when they threw me away because I don't want to be a part of that, right? So now going into the new stage of life, like I already know what my team is, and I'm rocking with this team forever, and it's most of the same team that I rock with forever anyway. So from that point on, that's what's gonna be. So you learn a lot. You learn a lot when you're here, and then all of a sudden it's back here, and then you disappear.
Right.
And it's silent. Remember, I only go silent for a reason. Y'all know me. I love doing interviews. I love talking. I went silent for a reason.
No,
Yep.
that's fair. That's fair. And it's interesting because like I remember that there was a time when I was seeing a lot of Brandon Magee stuff was going on, and then it got real quiet. And I was wondering, because the thing is, you could tell that at that point in time something was happening, but like nobody knew what it was. But there was some scheming going on in there because there were like seeds of other things that you could see working out.
Hey, you're smart. Yeah, I hint at stuff, especially in my Instagram stories.
Yep.
I leave a lot of hints in my Instagram stories because no one really knows what it means. Like if I put a cartoon on there, it's for a reason. Anything I put on my story that you're like, what? Why? This is so random. What does it mean? It means something. Everything I do means something. It's all strategy.
All strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have alluded to a few different projects. You have alluded to quite a few different projects. So, you know, I can only imagine what is going to come out. So, what are we looking time frame for some of these projects? Some of these projects we're waiting on.
I just got an email too when you guys broke up. The announcement's coming after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That's your first glimpse of it. I mean, I can tell I work in Hollywood now, so I'm doing, you know, the movies and the shows and stuff like that.
Right.
That's as much as I can say. So you get a first glimpse of that. That's going to be a huge news break when that comes out, and then probably like a month after that, you'll probably hear about my second, third type thing that I have coming. Or before, no, yeah, there's a lot coming. It's going to be like a heat wave.
Okay. So back end of the year to the first half of next year, we're looking at a few projects dropping and all of us being blown away.
Yeah, it's gonna be a heat wave of content, up and coming stuff that's coming soon. Yeah, and all of it is like some really uplifting, powerful stuff too. All of it. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up with all your hints and clues?
It is bmagee53, but I'm actually trying to change that so I can take away the 53. Like, so I just talked to my mom about this too. Like, I play sports and I'm mostly known for an athlete, but when I'm gone, I want to be known for a guy that took over Hollywood. That's what I'm going to be known. So I'm trying to take out the 5'3". So, but you can follow me now at bmagee53. But I'm trying to change that.
You could go CJ's route and do the real Brandon Magee.
No, yeah, I think I'm going to do Brandon Alonzo Magee or Brandon A. Magee. I love my middle name. I don't know why. I just love it. So I have to change it to that.
There you go. And another piece of big news that came out, I think last week, your brother signed to play baseball at ASU. I was like, when I thought we were all out of Magee's, there's another one. Like, how many kids are actually in your family?
A lot. I got, I don't know if you got my other brother, Chris, married Dallas, Escobedo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, but it's Escobedo Magee now.
Hey.
What's it called? So Cameron is coming in like 6 months. He'll be on campus. Dude is a baller, bro. Plays shortstop, can hit for power, hits for average, everything. Quick hands, good arm. But after him, my little sister, Kylie Magee, follows. The following year, and I think she's like the #1 rated pitcher in the nation for softball. Yeah, she's really good. It's like scary, guys. Yeah. So she's playing ASU softball. So it'll be both of them for the next 3-4 years. Can't get rid of us.
Y'all are just a big baseball softball family, huh?
Yeah.
So where did that all come from? Is it just kind of just all in you?
No, my dad. Like once a kid is born, he just makes them work out and makes them play baseball. Like football, I didn't play football until I got to high school. I was just baseball. Okay. So it's just in our blood, and my dad does a really good job with training these kids. And my stepmom, Teresa, does a really good job of being the parent, really the producer of it all. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool.
Jeez. I mean, And so what's it like being just in this family of athletes? I mean, do you help your siblings kind of navigate this whole thing, kind of give them the tips and tricks that, maybe from the lessons you learned?
Yep. Every lesson I know, I'd be pumping these dudes up, man. And my little sister, I'm on her. So that's coming. And then there's some, I think you guys will start to learn a lot more about, what's going on, and, where get some glimpses here and there. Yeah.
Well, what's Angelo up to? Because he was older, right?
Yeah. He's out here killing the game in the loans business and the house sellings and stuff like that. He be doing them for like stars. I can't say their names, but yeah, he's balling, bro. He's really smart. So he's doing well, more than well. He's doing great.
So one more random sports question that I just thought of, because we were recruited in the age where huddle was like the only thing that we had.
Was it? If that.
Yeah, right. We had huddle, and that was only like our junior year of high school, right? How has it been different seeing your siblings go through this in the age of social media, in the age of the internet, when it's been 100% of a different recruiting game?
I can tell you the hype is real. Oh my gosh. When we were getting recruited, we had so many, it was like Skittles. Like, which one are you going to pick? Right. Well, we didn't talk about it. We didn't tweet about it. I didn't tweet out, here's my top 10, here's my top 5. Right. Bro, what? And then signing day, I literally signed and went to class. We didn't celebrate it. We just went to class. Like, I don't know. It's just so different nowadays. It's kind of, at first I was like, no, I don't like that. But now I'm getting kind of adjusted to it. But it's like, guys, pick a school, you go to school, and you play the game. I don't care what your top 5 is.
Right.
Who are you gonna pick? Give me one, and then get to moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is the deal?
I mean, I will say that it's good to be out of that world. It's nice.
Oh, come on, man. And then every decision, I decided to step away and not go to this school. Great! I don't care. Who? Great. Call the coach. Tell them. Call the coach. And then call the team that you're going to go to and go.
I decommitted from this school. You didn't, you just gave a verbal, my friend. Like,
just go.
I love that the last line of their graphic is always, please respect my decision. And I'm like, I don't even care what your decision is. Like, anyways.
You're going to college. Congratulations. That's great. Why would not respect your decision? Just go. But this is the era of that's normal nowadays. Everyone's doing it. So it's pretty much a trend. So I can't say it's bad. It's just something I got to get used to. Right. I got to get used to that. Oh, my goodness.
And I have to ask, because just for not only athletes, but people in general, social media is so draining. And I know all 3 of us have had problems with the anxiety. So just for athletes and then for people in general, how can they learn to step away from how toxic social media is? I mean, these athletes are teenagers in high school and they have grown men coming at them over colleges and all that. And just people in general are always attacking each other. So what advice do you have just for people to keep their mental health in check and to not put too much energy into social media?
Well, one, because I just started taking therapy, and therapy is fantastic. People, I don't know why I ever thought otherwise, but I just started doing this. It's a beautiful thing. But I learned this technique is like you take a deep breath in and you count to 4, hold it for 4, release to 4. So every time I feel anxiety coming or I'm stressed out, I do that 4 times, and it helps me out tremendously. Now, the social media aspect, who cares? Like, guys, I get it. It's the flash time. I'm going to post, I'm here, I'm there, I'm here. Guys, just live your life and have fun. If they don't like you, they don't like you. They wasn't meant to be in your life. keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. And then if you're a baller, go do it. Go do it. Like, see that when I used to talk smack, bro, I would come to that game and I would actually put up those numbers to deserve to talk smack.
True.
Right? Or I would talk smack after the game, but don't talk smack and then let me see you get beat on a vert. Don't let me see that. Because I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. Bro, just let your play do the talking, and then you can talk after or onwards, but you have to perform. That's what it comes down to. Forget the social media, bro. Social media, is that going to help you get to the league? You think, what, Pete Carroll cares that you're popular on Instagram? No.
Great advice.
So have you ever thought about going into more of the business side of sports? I mean, because it sounds to me like you still can be, you're still very passionate about it, obviously, because it was the life that you lived for years. But, have you ever thought about trying to get into the office side?
Well, I've had some opportunities here and there at a couple of colleges, especially early on, like when I first retired, but I just didn't want to do it. I see myself doing Hollywood for many, 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 many years. And then once I'm like 50, 55, maybe 60, be the athletic director, for Arizona State, or be the head football coach for Arizona State.
Yep.
But I'd love to be the football coach or something, but it has to be Arizona State. I don't want to coach anywhere else. That's it. So whenever Herm is done, but he probably retired before I want to coach, so let's make that happen. But I'd love to be the Arizona State football coach. We'll be out there fired up, boy.
Every
my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
100% passion. Coach Randolph at his prime, every game, every minute.
Wasn't Coach Randolph full tip boogie? Is that what you used to do? Yep.
You just never there though.
The whole city of Tempe would be turned up. Turned up.
I mean,
which brings me to my next question. Everybody in Tempe knew you, like you said, when you played football at ASU. You couldn't go anywhere without somebody stopping you. I know, especially like walking around campus. So there's so many great things about Tempe. Outside of ASU football, what was your best memory in Tempe? Something that you're okay talking about on the show.
There's so many. I would say, one, I would go to the movie theater in Tempe Marketplace all the time. That was my escape. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I get peanut M&Ms. I watch the latest movie. I don't think about football, sports, nothing. I usually had a hoodie on. And that's my main memory of Arizona State, going to the, and I ain't gonna lie to you, on a recruiting visit, we went to Tempe Marketplace, not Dave and Buster's, what's that food place? Buffalo Wild Wings?
Oh yeah, there's the Buffalo Wild Wings.
There might be Dave and Buster's too. But it was
now there is.
Yeah, and I saw how close the movie theater was to the school. Yep. And that was like my last straw, on top of another thing. But that was the last straw. And yeah, so I was at the movie theater, and I went on a lot of great dates while I was out there in Arizona. The girls are great. They're wonderful people out there, beautiful, beautiful people. And so off the field, it was just great, beautiful time.
Tinder wasn't a thing when you played, right?
Oh, if it was, I'd have lightened that thing up, boy.
Not until we were like juniors in college.
Come on. I'd have been in the meeting like,
This is all I'm gonna say.
All of y'all probably would have.
There were a couple of our teammates that right at the end did. I can think of two come to mind, one of which ended up in the NFL, the other of which definitely didn't. But I can think of two people off the bat.
Yep.
That
I was nothing wrong with that. I used Tinder before. I used Hinge before. Bumble, bro. I could date from my house. Why would I not use the apps, bro? I have nothing against apps, bro. I'm at home chilling. Yes. No.
Well, CJ's married now, but there were many times when we would hang out and he'd be like, swipe.
That is Verified. That is facts. That is facts.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that is facts.
So I take it you're single for every lady listening to this episode
Yeah.
right now?
Yes, I am.
All right, living in Cali, ladies. Hit him up.
Cali, I'll be in Arizona sometimes too. I'll be there.
Willing to travel is what I'm hearing.
I can travel. Yep.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's fun.
Well, Brandon, it has been an honor having you on the show. I don't think there will be anybody else ever like you in the program. You're absolutely incredible. I know CJ and I cannot wait to see everything that's in store for you. I'm going to turn alerts on for your social media after Thanksgiving.
I will just tell you, it's after Thanksgiving, the first week coming back. And once it comes out, I just send it in that group chat. So you don't even have to have an alert. I'll just show y'all. Yeah.
VIP status.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just send it to you guys.
I'm excited.
Cool. Well, looking forward to it. Thank you again, and talk soon.
Let's do it. Thanks,
All right.
guys. You guys are great.